What's going on, people, and welcome back to the Baby Fathers podcast for another brand new episode. Before I start today's show, I just want to say Happy New Year going out to everybody, all right? And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel now. Don't forget to press that notification button so any new episode comes out. You're not going to be the first to know. And don't forget to like this video and share, all right? So on today's show, we have a special guest, and he goes by the name of
Ayonoble.
All right. So before we actually get into it, just kind of let people know what you do.
Cool. So essentially, I'm a financial advisor specializing in protection. So I help people essentially leave anywhere from 6 to 8 figures in inheritance tax-free for their kids. And I help people keep the wealth in their family for the long term. So I deal with things like wills, trusts, LPAs, and all your insurances. And of course, I'm also a big advocate for investing.
Okay, that's good to hear. All right, cool, bro. So listen, I want to get straight into this. All right, so what I am going to touch on is obviously it's a different kind of thing we're touching on today. But I think the first one I do want to touch on is about life insurance. Now, why is life insurance so important?
Because the truth is, without life insurance, your family has one of 3 options. Option A, they end up going out of pocket. So it means that they've got money in the bank already that, you know, they could be using for other things. But because you've died now, which is going to happen to everyone, they now have to use that money to bury you. Now, some might say, well, we've got it, so they should use it. But if you're thinking wisely, 20 grand, 20, 30 grand, you know, could be invested in some sort of business, venture, property. It could be put into an asset that's going to return more money for the family versus 20, 30 grand just to put you in the ground. Second option, your family is now going to be doing crowdfunding on GoFundMe. That's just embarrassing. Like, when you look at GoFundMe campaigns, how much are people asking for? They're asking for what people spend on holidays. Do you know what I mean? Like, the amount that someone's going to spend to travel, that's what someone's going to end up having to ask for because you're asking the public for money. Now, there's no way you can go ask the public for 100 grand just so that your family can be left nice after you've passed away. You know the public won't do it. So you tend to see people asking for, you know, small amounts, which tend to not really do much. Then the last option is at the point of your death, your family is now going to end up, you know, regressing financially. They're going to have to take out loans. They're going to end up in debt just to bury you. And the thing is, funeral homes always collect, and they collect in full. You know, have you ever seen a funeral home go out of business?
Never.
But you've seen all kinds of businesses go out of business. Established brands, big companies, multi-million-pound corporations, they've gone out of business. But a funeral home never. Why? Because everyone's going to pass away. So the problem is that people have seen life insurance as this thing that you do when you're about to die versus something that you get done because you know you're going to die at some eventual point. So life insurance is not a thing of, oh, I should only consider it if I think I'm going to die in 5 years. The sooner you sort out the end, the cheaper and the better it will be, and the more peace of mind you have. I kind of liken it to, for example, if you knew right now that, for example, you left your house, but you didn't lock your door, how often would you be thinking about that, you know?
The whole time.
You'd be thinking about it the whole time, right? Because it's not sorted out. And you know that there's a possibility that if something happens, they can actually get access to your house. So it's going to be on your mind constantly. So now when you're talking about life insurance, people will say stuff like, oh, that's morbid, talking about death. It's going to be morbid the longer you haven't sorted it out. Similar to the example I gave about you not locking your door. But when your door's locked, how often do you think about, you know, someone just walking into your house? You don't even think about it. Same way once you've got your affairs in order. If you've already sorted out the life insurance, there's no need to think about dying ever again because you already know if this happens, whenever it happens, not even if, when it happens, X, Y, Z will be taken care of. And that's why it's important. And personally, I've seen what happens when you don't have life insurance.
But I was going to ask you this question because I was going to go on to that. Why do you think some people don't really bother with life insurance?
Couple reasons. One, understanding. So first and foremost, it's not something that's promoted. Now, the reason why it's not promoted is because it doesn't benefit the government to promote it. Because let's look at how it works. How it works is person A dies. So let's say, you know, your parent passes away, your grandparent passes away. If they have a life insurance policy and they have a good advisor like myself, it's likely to be put in trust because that's what I do for all my clients. Meaning that money is out of their estate, so it will be tax-free. Now, let's say all of your grandparents, everyone naturally should have 4 grandparents, right? let's say all of your grandparents have 500,000 each and they all pass away. That's 2 million tax-free going to the next generation. Think about what a £2 million inheritance would do for you. Do you get? You see how that impacts the next generation and even further generations heavily?
Yeah.
You know, that will determine where you live, what kind of school you go to, the kind of things that they can invest in, the kind of, you know, vehicles they can use to produce more wealth, which in turn benefits you. So now, ultimately, that will now make you more independent of the government, right? Yeah. Because you've now got money, meaning you've got more choice. So now, why would they promote that? They can't tax it. You get more freedom of them. You get more choice. Why would I push that? So that's the first group, the people that don't know. The second group, this group is the people that are, to be frank, selfish. You know, for someone to sit in the shade one day, someone has to plant the tree. And the thing about life insurance is, you taking out that policy is to protect the people you leave behind, not yourself. You don't get the money. So they're probably sitting thinking, well, I didn't get no money, so why should I make sure that these people left behind get money? Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's that broken mindset. Last option, they're skeptical for the wrong reasons. They're skeptical they know the right thing to do is to get it done, because, do you know what I mean? If you ask someone, what happens to you if you die tomorrow? And their answer is, it's not going to be good. So why are you not doing nothing about it? Like every moment that you don't do something about it, that's the answer. Now the skeptics come into the play because the level of scrutiny that they give to doing the right thing, which is making sure that there is some sort of money left behind for your family when you die, they don't apply that to every other aspect of their life. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. That same person will go get a car finance and not even know if it's PCP or HP. They don't even know. Like, the things that you're supposed to scrutinize and actually look at the small print, you don't do that. The things that, in essence, don't benefit you, you mask it with, I need information and this and that. And it's like, you look for reasons to justify what you're not doing.
What benefits does your child get for having life insurance?
The benefit is that upon your passing, they're not going out of pocket. Upon your passing, which is inevitable, like, you're going to die. It's not about dying young, because it's not a thing where it only covers you if you die young. You can live long and still make sure there's an inheritance. The benefit is that, let's say you do live long. Let's say you live to, let's say 80, and you had your first child. What age did you have your first child?
20.
20. You were 20 when you had your first child, right? Cool. Let's say that's the pattern that follows. You had your first child at 20. You live to 80. It means that by the time when you die, your child will be 60, right? Let's say your child, just like you, has their first child at 20. That means that when you die, your oldest grandchild would be 40, right? Cool. Very likely that if the pattern keeps following, your great-grandchild could be 20. And then your great-great-grandchild would be 1. Now, at the point where you've passed away now, you've left, let's say, 500,000, $1 million.
So what you're saying is, life insurance is like an investment, a long-term investment, because what you're actually doing is, for over the years, you're paying what you're paying, but at the end goal, when you pass away, that money is handed down, or inherited to your family, which they're then able to spread the money across.
100%. There's no transaction fee. There's not even like we got an admin fee just for passing the money on. No one's going to tell you what you can and can't do with the money. There's no restrictions on what you can do with it.
And in terms of talking about life insurance, where you're saying where people sometimes are on the fence of not getting life insurance. Now, how much is a life insurance can start from in terms of just to get a name on life insurance?
The cheapest policy I've ever seen was like £4.39.
Yeah.
Like, you see the thing about life insurance, why there's no excuse. Everyone accepts they're going to die. So why would you want to die for free? That's essentially what I tell people. Don't die for free. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's something that, as I say, it's something that could equalize everyone's family, genuinely, from an inevitable situation. Like,
if something, say like example you were talking about if you pass away, so if something did happen to you, what's the process of then getting that money?
Good question. So naturally, the person would have put trustees and beneficiaries.
What's the difference between them?
The trustees are the people that, so when you create a trust, you have trustees. Let's call them the board members of that trust.
Okay.
So these are the people that, because you're dead, right? So you can't execute your own wishes. You're dead. So these are the people that you trust to execute your wishes. And your wishes have been stated as, I want my money to go to my son and my daughter, or whatever. Those are your beneficiaries, the people that benefit. Now, the trustees can be the same as the beneficiaries, which makes life so easy because all they have to do is give money to themselves.
But do you, sorry to interrupt you, just to interrupt you there. But do you tell them this to the life insurance people once you have set it up?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So it's at the point of setting it up that you would create this. Because they'll ask, who do you want the money to go to? There's no right or wrong answer. It's up to you. Okay. You would decide, what percentage split as well. You might say you want 60% to go to your oldest child, 40% to your youngest child, for whatever reason. So there's no right or wrong answer. Nobody gets questioned as to, it's their money in it. They can do what they want. Now, you've done all of that. Once, let's say the person passes away now. Obviously, you would have let your trustees know, look, this is what's in place, blah, 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 blah. Cool. They've passed away. Trustees would naturally call the claims line. There's a specific number that you call for your provider just to say, hey, look, I need to make a claim. Sure, what's the claim? This person has passed away. Our condolences, blah, blah, blah. Do you have a death certificate or proof that the person's dead? Because otherwise, everyone would just say that they're dead when they're not dead, right? Yeah. Yes, sir, we do. Okay, cool. Could you send that in? Get sent in, blah, blah, blah. Prove that you're the person that, is on the trust. Yeah, obviously, this is my name. This is da-da-da. Cool. Once they've done all their checks, made, got the coroner's report, autopsy, this person died because this, that, the other. Nothing is amiss. Great. What sort code and account number would you like us to send the money to? Case closed. That's how someone that's never had 100 grand in their account can have $1 million in their account by the very next day.
Yeah.
Just there.
Okay.
Ready for them to spend.
So how does the will then work? How important is it to then have a will?
Very important. A will is an expression of your wishes. A will stops the government from saying, so how do we know that your dad wanted to give you the whatever, the asset? It's a stupid question for the government to ask, but they will ask it. Why not? Yeah. If you're not serious enough to sort this out, why shouldn't we take advantage of your lack of prudence? So they will take advantage of anything they can take advantage of, and it's legal. And that's what people need to understand. There's a difference between moral and legal. Things no one just moves just because it's the right thing to do. And too many people keep putting themselves in positions where they need someone to work on their behalf just because it's the right thing to do. Versus you've put yourself in a position where people need to work on your behalf because they have to.
So is there different wills out there? Like, how does the whole will work? Is there different ones out there what people can sign up to or what they want? Yeah,
different providers of wills. It's just, the level of complexity. Okay. And whatnot. So like, for example, the reason why someone would need a will, let's say a husband and wife have a property and the husband dies first. Naturally, the property will go to the wife, no problem. There's no inheritance tax between spouses. That's fine. Let's say they had 3 children already, right? Now, the wife remarries. She then gets remarried to this next guy. Let's say he's got his own kids. Yeah, step family, whatever. In the kid's head, there was their biological mum and dad that bought the property, right? Yeah. The property was always going to them, right? No problem. They're just living life thinking that's going to happen. Unfortunately, the mum now dies before the stepdad or the new husband. As a result, there's no will. The property now gets moved into the stepdad's ownership. So
why is that though?
Why? That's just the natural way of things. That's just how it works. It's the spouse that will naturally inherit.
So how can you avoid that happening?
By having a will.
Okay.
So if you had a will, it would have clearly stated that no, this should be going to the kids rather than the government. So put it like this: in the absence of you saying what you want, the government decides for you what's going to happen. You see that? You see what I'm saying there? So it's not, oh, I didn't say it, but don't worry, I'll get around to it. It's until you've done it, the government's deciding. So every day you don't have a will, every day you don't have your affairs in order, the government is in charge.
All right, so let's talk about the government before, because that is one of my questions I was going to ask you. If you don't have a will, does the house go to the government, or they just control what happens after? What happens in that situation?
But 9 out of 10 times, you'd probably end up in probate. And probate is where you end up having to argue with the government as to, oh, this is what the person wanted. Okay, prove it. Well, they didn't have a will, so we're just, we're trying our best with what we've got to prove this is what they wanted.
So, but even still it goes to probate, and you're saying that if the government does step in, does that mean they then get everything, or it's just a process of trying to get it back because there wasn't a will in place?
It's a process of trying to get it back because there wasn't a will in place. So it's just unnecessary.
Yeah.
Because even that, as you're going through this, fees are accruing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Then, by the time all is said and done, you're going to probably get slapped with an inheritance tax of some kind, depending on the value of the property, if it's above the threshold.
So what is the benefits of making sure you have a will to benefit your kids?
The benefit is clarification on what you want to happen, so that no one has to decide for you what's going to happen. That's the benefit. Because the will in itself makes it clear so that the government doesn't say, oh, okay, how did we know? But the next thing you need after that is a trust, so that it's out of your estate. This is more for like the financial sides of things, so that when it comes to things like taxes, inheritance taxes, all those implications, you can move away from that as well.
How do you go about moving away from that?
Inheritance tax?
Yeah.
Well, first things first, you could. There's multiple ways. It's just what's the most efficient way for the individual asking at the time. But for example, that again, that's where life insurance kicks in. Let's say you've got £1 million property by yourself, and you've got your son, and you want to pass the property, onto him or whatever. Let's say, for example, for unfortunate reason, you die an untimely death or something, God forbid, right? Now, you've got an allowance of 325k, and then because you've got a property, you get an additional 175k. So it means that your child could have inherited essentially $500,000 tax-free. But your property is worth $1 million now. So you've gone above the threshold. That means that on the 500k above the 500k, there's a 40% tax due to the government. So the government, can you see, I'm about to make 200 grand just because you've died.
Yeah.
Why is the government going to make 200 grand just because you've died, but your family's not making nothing because you've died? So now imagine, as you tend to see, that property that you worked so hard to get mortgage free, hand over to your son, let your son have all that equity, he's probably going to end up having to sell it just to
give back the government.
Do you get it? Now property's gone. There's no property in the family. He's going to give the government, let's say, the 200 grand. Then he's going to get slapped with probably capital gains tax. Do you see now?
Yeah.
And all that hard work, back to square one. Now, what could you have done? You could have easily had an insurance policy that would have mitigated whatever outstanding inheritance tax balance. So let's say now you decided, let me have a £500,000 policy. Now your son's going to get a tax-free $500,000, right? Let's say the government does come calling for that 200k. Well, I've got $500,000 in my account. Here's your 200k, case closed. Nothing to talk about again. And he's still got 300k left for himself. Let's say he takes 50 grand to bury you, some extravagant burial. He's still got 250k left in cash to do whatever he wants, and he has a property. See how simple that was? All from you having a direct debit.
I've heard you say this before. It's something to do with how to avoid paying that. Is it called? Is it the
Like a living trust?
Yeah.
You could do that. So there's another thing you could do. You could gift the property to your son. Just make sure you don't die within 7 years.
Yeah.
Because if you die within 7 years after gifting the property to your child, there will be taxes incurred in that situation. So if you escape and you live for the 7 years, great. That's possible. The only thing about this though is that if you are still mortgaging your property, it becomes complex and complicated, because let's say you need to remortgage. Now you got to take your property back out of the trust to get it. So it's one of those things that you do at the end when it's like, no, this is like a legacy planning, estate planning type of maneuver.
Yeah.
Easy route.
But it's funny you say that, because throughout the years, the certain clients that I work with, right, when you kind of turn up to their house, they got the big house, the big cars, and etc. Right, but they are just down to earth people. But what I've noticed in their culture is a lot of it's through wealth, right, what's they've inherited into. But sometimes I find that in our culture, where sometimes we seem to see the issue is more people do not have life insurance. They don't think of life insurance as a must, and they think of all the other things first. But when I see some of the other cultures, life insurance is very heavily involved into their culture, which they always seem to sign up. If I could be wrong, if I'm right or wrong.
No, you're right, because when I speak to other cultures and say, oh, you should get life insurance, it's like, yeah, no, I've got it ready. Yeah, you're absolutely right, I've got it ready. It's like, yeah, obviously. So to them, it's like, yeah, obviously, like
It's something standard.
Do you know what I mean? They're not asking the questions of, how do I know it's not a scam? How do I know they're not going to pay? They don't have that concept. It's only us that have that concept. Do you get what I'm saying?
But how serious is these wills? And the only reason I'm going to ask you this, say this, and the reason I'm going to ask you this, right? Because you have seen people have wills in the past, but that will then is still being testified in court. Even so that person made their wishes for the will to go to wherever it needs to. You get maybe the siblings or maybe the wife or somebody not agreeing with the will, so they then trying to testify the will.
So you see, that's why I say the will is needed as an expression of wishes, but you want to add that with a trust.
Okay.
Do you get it? To really cement the, if you like, unquestionable aspects. So you got to see it as stages. First stage, when you have nothing, government says, how do I know? You get the will, that's the how do I know. Okay, cool. You've told me what you want, but you haven't solidified it in a way whereby, yeah, that's what you want, but I can challenge it in a different way, or I can say, okay, no problem, you want them to have it, but we need our bit. The next stage is the trust, which is, okay, cool, they're not only are they going to have it, but you've cut us out. It's the other reasons why people want to put their properties in trust. Avoiding care fees.
Okay.
Now, if someone was a homeowner, they've, paid off their mortgage, everything, and then God forbid now they need to go into care. I think as it stands now, at the time of recording this, if your council sees that you've got anything over 23 grand in assets, savings, you are financially responsible for your care fees. Now, where I live, a decent care home on a weekly basis is 1,500 a week. Not before tax, after tax, like real cash money, meaning that you're spending what, 6 grand a month, 72 grand a year
In care.
in care. Meaning if you just spent, let's just say, just 5 years in care, what are we looking at? We're looking at 360 grand. That means the average person is going to have to go get a loan against their property. Hopefully they've even got that level of equity in their property in the first place. But now the property that you've worked so hard your whole life to pay off so that your kids can get a good head start or your grandkids can get a nice head start, they're back to square one with a brand new mortgage. Just because you're in a care home. So again, that's another reason why you'd want to put the property in trust. Because, again, once it's in trust, it's not in your estate, it's not yours. So therefore, they can't say, oh, we want to leverage the property. That person will be able to get the care home that they need. Their council will be able to pay for it. Their kids get what they need to get.
If you don't have like property and things like that, and you need to go in the care home, does that being covered by the government, or you just don't go in the care home? How does that work?
Does the person have more than 23 grand or not?
No,
They don't.
Less than that.
Less than the government that deals with that.
If you have less than 23 grand in assets or in cash, they can't trouble you. But if you have a house, they're going to then make you pay to stay in the care home paying 6 grand a month.
But the person that was wise enough would have had a trust, so that mitigates that as well.
Okay.
Do you see?
So, talking about living in your parents' house, if you had your kids, would you make them pay rent to stay in your house?
No, I'm the parent. They're the children. Why am I sharing responsibility, but I'm also not going to share authority?
So you would say if they're 25 and they're still living in your house, you wouldn't make them pay rent?
No, because I'd want them to use the money that they earn in order to save, invest, and get ahead. That's the thing. The other communities, that's what they do. They pay, everything goes forward. It tends to be in our community, that's why we even have the black tax. It tends to be that for whatever reason, because I know people are going to have their reasons, excuses, oh, they didn't have this opportunity, that let's put all of the anecdotal and, justified reasons to the side. The overarching truth, whatever the reason is that a lot of parents tend to find, like, their kids are the investment. Their kids are the pension. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's a clear reflection that you cannot handle the responsibility financially, as a parent. So whatever choices you've made choices that are beyond your means. Because let's think about it. Before your kid came into the world, you had the choice to choose where you lived. You know what it costs to live where you want to live, what you want to live in. So why have you gone to pick something that you can't handle to the point where you need a support of someone just starting their life for you to handle your business? 'Cause remember, your kid didn't get a vote in where you lived. You didn't sit down and say, oh yeah, cool, here's rent for this place, here's rent for this place, here's rent for this place. What do you think? That never happened. So why today are you saying that you can't handle your responsibility as an adult, as a responsible functioning adult? You need this child to come and support that just for you to function. It's not like you're doing it out of, like, we're not talking about the whole, no, I'm taking your rent, I'm telling you it's rent, but I'm saving it, investing it.
Well, that's what I would, but see,
because that's what they'll say, but they're not doing that.
No, I'll be honest with you. If my kids was living with me, if I was living with them and they was I would take the rent off them. But the reason why I would take the rent off them, as something you just kind of said, I'm taking it to put that away for them. So when they decide to go and get their house, that money is all there for them to go and do what they need to go and do with it, to purchase whatever they need to purchase or do in that house. I also think it's teaching them life skills, or knowing to make sure that making sure that they're paying every month to whatever it is. I know you could talk about how they can have phone bills that they could be paying and stuff like that, but that's a commitment, and that's a serious commitment. And if your children are thinking one day, oh yeah, today I will pay this month, and next month I don't want to pay, what is that then teaching? That what you're going to hear from the child is, I'll only do it then once I have my own place. But you're actually training them with life skills to do it at that particular time, to get them into the routine of doing it. So when they do leave the nest, they know how to continue doing it, then saying I'm going to do it now, and then 2 years later you're finding them back at your house again. You see what I'm saying?
I get that, but I think you have little faith in the capacity of your own children if you think like that.
No. It's called life skills. You're having to teach. It's like you can't expect your child to just do something because you're expecting it because they're your child, they're going to do it. You have to show them and nurture them. So
yeah, it depends on how you teach them, how you check. See, because that's the thing as well. So ask yourself this: Do you think rich people teach their children how to be rich through being poor?
They will put scenarios in place for them to learn.
Because a lot of people feel like lessons can only be learned through suffering or through some sort of hardness. And it's like, not all learning has to be like that. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, I see what you're saying, but me taking money from a child to help them on the run, where I'm only teaching them life skills.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. Because like you said, you're going to give it back to them.
Yeah.
But you're probably an anomaly. Like, you're anecdotal. Most people aren't taking money from their kids because it's some life lesson. Let's be real. They're pocketing that. They're doing whatever. That kid ain't seeing that money again. It's gone. It's 9 out of 10 times it comes from a standpoint of, oh look, it's cheaper here than being out there. Whereas me personally, if I was a parent, naturally my mindset is, I'm the parent, you're the child. I don't need anything from you. Do you get it? I'm the one that's here to protect and provide,
but
not the other way around.
When you was growing up, was that with you? That did you learn that at home, that your parents didn't take nothing from you, and you was then to follow that same tradition?
Essentially, yeah. Because, do you know what I mean? My mum never, because I grew up with 2 parents. Then my dad passed away when I was 16. So, do you know what I mean? Obviously, before that I wasn't working.
Yeah.
Then 16 is when I started making money and, doing whatever, whether it was McDonald's, doing selling in school, chocolates, all that jazz. My mom didn't say, oh yeah, you need to pay rent because you live here. Why? You're just setting me back doing that. Because all that time, once my expenses are low, that's the time to save your money. And I learned how to manage money from watching how my mom manages money. Do you know what I mean? She's not frivolous with her money. There's necessities and then you save. Now I took it a step further by investing. But what I saw from her was, look, you don't just waste money because you think, oh yeah, there's going to be more next week. Yeah. You manage your money accordingly, correctly. You budget and you cut your coat according to your size. You don't go and do stuff like, do you know what, I can't afford it, so let me just do monthly payments on something I can't afford, because the monthly payments are smaller than what the thing actually costs. However, those monthly payments are excessive for your current budget as it stands. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I learned all of that without having to be charged. So for me personally, I think as a community, if you look at the Asian community, that's what they do. Their kids don't just move out. Their kids will go and essentially live at home, go get good high paying jobs, stack all that bread, buy a property. They even take it a step further. They will get married and their wife is moving back into their parents' crib so that both of them are accumulating wealth. So that by the time they move out, they're moving out to buy a yard. That's what they're doing. Whereas us, we're trying to move out by 18 just to do what? Have a free yard and bring the opposite sex home. Because let's be real. What is it that you can't do at your parents' yard that you need to incur 15 to 1,500 to 1,800, maybe even to 2K a month in expenses? What is it that you can't do at home? What will your parents not allow? Because that's what's keeping us back. Because let's look at it. Let's say they go my way. I'm not going to kick my kid out and I'm not going to charge them, but I'm going to make sure that they're handling their money efficiently. They don't even need to earn a lot. Let's say they're even just on, you just come out of uni, like 21. Let's say that you're on 25K. So what? Just over 2K a month. Let's say after tax, you're taking home anywhere from 1.7 to 1.8.
So do you think this is more of a culture situation than the individuals?
Definitely. Definitely, because the culture determines your normalities. The culture is essentially, in a nutshell, what is and isn't accepted.
Bro, listen, time's up. So I have to wrap it up. There's just a few questions I'm going to ask you, just obviously they can know. So in terms of if someone wants to get life insurance, how do they go about getting life insurance?
Very straightforward. So all they have to do, visit my Instagram page, book a call. The call is free. All they have to do is decide that they want life insurance, because that's why it's free. It's for people that have decided they want it. This is not the time to now come and be doing 21 questions and stuff. But it's very straightforward. It's literally a 30 to 45 minute process. Fact find, simple questions. What's your name? What's your age? Height, weight? How much do you earn? What's your expenses? And how much would you like to spend on insurance?
Okay.
Straightforward, right? So it's tailored to your budget.
Yeah.
So I don't tell you must spend X, Y, Z. What I rather say is what's comfortable for you that's not going to keep you up at night, and let's find something. Because 9 out of 10 times, whatever you decide to spend, you're going to secure 6 figures. 6 figures to leave as an inheritance is more than what most of us got.
Yeah.
So, of course, if you have more, then obviously there are other protections as well, like income protection, critical illness cover, mortgage protection, obviously if you have a mortgage. Those are things that I would always say do, but again, it's down to the individual and their budget and what they can do. If they can afford to have all of that, I would strongly recommend it. But if they're going to pick one thing, I'll definitely say life insurance, because that's the one thing that's guaranteed, that you're going to pass away.
And the will, how does people sort out wills? Like,
same thing. So you book a call with me, let me know what it is that you need. I will then put you in touch with my legal team. It will all get taken care of for you. They will literally guide you with, look, this is this, this is this, this is this. What do you think? Here are the things that you said. Based on what you said, you need X, Y, and Z. Here are the reasons why you need X, Y, and Z. What are your thoughts? Would you like to proceed? So there's no pressure. They're literally just informed. And if they give the green light, we make it happen.
Wicked. And how can they find you?
Instagram, they can go on Ayonoble _. So that's AYONOBLE _. Same on TikTok, Ayonoble _. And on YouTube, you can find me on Insight with Ayo. So all the information that you need will be on any of those platforms. And
we also will drop it in the description below as well, so they can also click onto that.
Sure.
Yeah, but bro, listen, I'm going to have to wrap it up, because time is now on, man. You get me?
Fair.
Yeah, but I'm going to say thanks again, yeah?
No problem.
So listen, I'm going to say to anyone who's been watching today's episode, I want to hear your lot's views in the comments below. I know it has been a different episode today, but I do believe these are the kind of conversation that needs to be had as well, because I think sometimes these conversations can be avoided because we just think we're going to be here forever, and we have to also make sure that we are setting up the next generation to make sure that they're going to be in a better space than where maybe we was. All right. So listen, till next time, for myself, DJ Ridler, till next time, peace, and we out.